Hi, I'm Josh Carr, Carr Real Estate. Over the years, people have asked me a lot about partnership models. There's so many different ways to build partnership structures, and I just wanted to show you a simple example of a partnership structure, and maybe you'll find this interesting. It's definitely the kind of thing I enjoyed going through, so let me show you a simple structure, and then maybe we could talk about trickier ones and kind of build from there. So here goes. In this structure, here's the language, and this language was ripped and modified from an actual partnership agreement. It says, distributions of net cash flow, net of all fees and expenses, will be made by the JV to the equity investor, including GP, to the extent of their capital investment on a pari passu basis, blah, blah, blah. Now, let me just define a few things in here before we even get into the math. And again, the reason I'm going through this sort of stuff is partnership structures are hard to figure out. And while there's a lot of material out there for like basic cash flow statements, trying to figure out what the heck this thing says, well, that's a whole other land of crazy. So, a couple things to point out. First off, it says net of all fees and expenses. So we're not worrying about property management fees, asset management fees, any fees that are coming out to the partners. We're simply saying, look at the cash we actually have to distribute. I could say a lot more about this, but that's enough to say right now. The other thing it says here is we're going to distribute the money on a pari passu basis. Pari passu is a fancy way of saying we get paid at the same time. So if we're splitting money, say 70-30, and a dollar comes in, we split it 70-30. Basically, you get 7 cents when I get 3 cents. We're getting paid at the same time. The other thing to point out is that this structure is actually using the IRR function as defined in Microsoft Excel. You will see sometimes in legal language them actually defining it as go and use the IRR function in Excel, or maybe the XIRR function. This way there's no fight about how to calculate things. The logic is if I have Excel and you have Excel, we can all figure it out. In this case, 100% of the money will first go to the equity investors in accordance with what they put in. So if you put in 90 cents and I put in 10 cents, we're splitting 90-10 until the limited partner gets 12% on their money. Then 80-20 until the limited partner gets a 25, and then 70-30. Most of these agreements are written to say distribute it until the limited partner gets 25% of their money. Because again, I think that generally makes sense. These things are usually structured around what the investor is going to make because, you know, it's the investor's money, it's what they're putting in. It would make sense that we'd use that to figure out the splits. So we have here a sample cash flow. Money in, money out. 10-10, 200, 10-10. We're putting in negative 100. I made the money in negatives. I made the money out positives. I made them blue so it's clear that these are inputs and these are formulas. In this case, that's the overall rate of return of the deal. 10 from the general, 90 from the limiteds. We're going to split 90-10 until the investor, the limited partner, if you will, gets 12% on their money. Then 80-20 into the limited partner gets 25, and then 70-30. In other words, as the deal is more successful, we will split the money at different rates. One rate until a 12, one rate until a 25, one rate above. Different tiers. You can call them tiers, you can call them tranches. Everyone has their own language for this. So if you're doing this, the first thing to do is to take the written words and to turn them into numbers and cells, right? So we take the written words, as we can see here, 12% goes here, 25% goes here. We've got various splits. Now, it does not say here how the money was being contributed. It was just saying that the money was going to the investors in accordance of what they put in. So what I did here is I just assumed that if there's 100 going in, that we're splitting the money 90-10. Maybe that's true, maybe that's not. But, you know, Generally, if we're going to split the money 80-20, once we get above a 12, then assumedly we put in money at a different rate before the 12, and usually the way this works is as the deal becomes more and more successful, the general partner gets a bigger slice. I think that conceptually makes sense. So up to 12, we're 90-10 because we're getting out at the rate that we put in. From 12 to 25, from 12 to 25, we're 80-20. And then above 25, we're 70-30. So at the risk of dumbing it down, if 100 goes in, we're going to split it 90-10. In other words, 90,000 from the LP, 10 to the GP. The rest of this model then basically says, how do we handle tier 1's money? How do we handle tier 2's money? And don't worry, we're going to go through all of this. And finally, how do we handle tier 3's money? And then at the bottom, we pull together what did the investor and the sponsor get at tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and then confirm that all the money that the investor got and all the money the sponsor got equals what was put into the model. Now, the language is bouncing around a little bit. In some places, I refer to them as LPs and GPs. In some places, I refer to them as investors and sponsors. It's a little discombobulated, but that's basically on purpose. You will see people use those phrases interchangeably. I realize depending on where you are on planet Earth, you have different words for this stuff, but big picture, there's some people who put up the money and some people who put together the deal, and the splits are different depending on who you are, right? So whether or not we want to call the person putting it together the GP or the sponsor, or the investor or the LP, it's all the same. One person puts up more of the money, that's the investor, and as the deal is more and more successful, the general partner gets a bigger and bigger slice. That's the basic layout of this thing. So big picture, take the written words, turn them into cells, break up the tiers, and then make sure you're calculating tier 1 separate from tier 2, separate from tier 3, and then consolidate everything at the bottom. That's the basic layout of this. In the next video, which has not been released yet because, I'm recording this now and I haven't done that video yet, we'll actually go through how tier 1 is calculated and tier 2 is calculated and tier 3 is calculated, and then we'll pull it all together. But this is the basic layout, and we'll get to that in the next video.